It looks so innocent just sitting there, but this has been a nightmare of a printer. This printer started giving problems well within the first year of use. From what I gather, since new it took a long time to boot up, spending a lot of time in the preparing ink system stage of boot. Over time it just got worse, sometimes spending minutes in the preparing ink system stage. Of course, while in that stage it was dumping ink into the waste tank, not a cheap part of the boot up process. Also, sometimes magenta streaks would print outside the image area. Now that wasn't a problem, but still a bit strange. But things get worse as the printer gets a little older and a bit more use on it. Intermittently, it would not print magenta. Now that was a huge problem as the print was ruined. Also, some random print head errors started showing up. Here's a nozzle check while it was acting up with the head that had been giving random errors. Can see no magenta at all. And some other nozzles missing as well. And then a nozzle check with a new head. Still no magenta, kind of the same other missing nozzles. And with time, the new head would give some random print head errors as well. I guess you could say the last straw was it seeming to be stuck in the preparing ink stage. Try to turn it off. Minutes later, it's still in the preparing ink stage and dumping ink. $1,500 a gallon ink. I've never worked on a very recent made printer like this before. This thing was about 3 months out of warranty when it finally went kaput. The few I've worked on were years old, really about at the end of their life. Now there is a problem with the printer still being the current model Canon sells. There is just no repair information available for this printer, and that is Canon's fault. What information I could find is about the PRO-4000 and PRO-6000 printers, but it does seem the PRO-6000 and PRO-6100 are very similar, so that's good in a way. Getting the case off of this thing is easier than the older printers. Each end of the case is held in place by 4 screws, here. Open the ink tank lid and pull the end piece out at the top and up. Both ends remove the same way. To get to all the access cover screws, 2 top plastic covers have to be removed. The control panel cover is held in place with 2 screws here. The left plastic cover has 1 screw here. The ink tank lid covers it, and a couple of plastic clips at the front. A row of screws here have to be removed across this support bar. Then the access cover can be removed. This cover is so much easier to remove than the older 9400. In fact, this PRO-6100 looks to be put together about like the PRO-4000 I tore down last year. Once all the screws are removed, the access cover just lifts off. When putting it back, make sure the tension springs are in their proper slots. I removed this top cover by removing all the screws, front and back, but I think the best way is to remove the line of screws in the back, and then remove the 2 screws at each end of this support bracket. The support bracket has to be removed anyway to access the carriage, so might as well keep these 2 pieces together and save a bit of time. Getting into maintenance mode here to do some testing. This thing seems to be a bit picky about getting into maintenance mode. Now to get the unit to operate with the case and covers off, have to tape down 3 switches. The left switch for the access cover is here. The left ink tank lid switch here. Be gentle with this one. It's not a heavy-duty switch and you don't want to bend it. And the right switch for the access cover here. Just taping the switches down with some masking tape seems to work well. So now it will operate, and I can see what is going on. I watched it prepare the ink system for over 5 minutes. Doesn't check the nozzles or anything else, just keeps running the purge unit. So I restarted in maintenance mode and print a nozzle test page. Everything prints fine. Of course it does, I'm standing here looking at it. I do think it's strange that the printer thinks it needs to prepare the ink system when the ink system is working fine. That is puzzling me. What is it looking for? After a while, it finally prints the nozzle test page with the magenta missing. No errors, just no magenta. All the other nozzles look okay. So this nozzle check still doesn't look as bad as the one where they tried a new head. The strange and intermittent behavior prompts me to take a look at the main FFC assembly. At first glance it looks fine, but a close look at one of the inside FFCs shows a pretty banged up cable. There are some pretty sharp dents in the thing. At this point, I feel pretty confident that the FFC assembly is the cause of the problem. I could even move the cable around and get the magenta to print some. So I have the owner order the cable assembly. Took a few weeks to get, but the new FFC assembly comes in a big box and has some of the plastic holders pre-assembled. To replace the main FFC assembly, you will need to remove the case pieces that I removed for testing. Also, we'll need to remove the metal plate covering the main and power supply PC boards. And at least this plastic cover here that is held in place by 4 screws here. There are 4 FFCs in the assembly, 2 fine pitch and 2 coarse pitch. The 2 fine pitch cables have a release lever on the cable socket. The 2 coarse pitch cables are just a press-in fit, so just have to pull them out of their sockets. Then need to feed the cable through the ferrite ring and out of this plastic holder. This is one of the plastic holders that comes with the new cable assembly. There are 2 plastic clips here that hold it in place. Kinda hard to get both to lift at one time, but once the clips are released, the plastic bracket will slide back a bit and can then be pulled out. There are 2 clips that hold the FFCs to the cable chain. I did mark the cable chain so I can put them back in the same spot. They just snap in place on the cable chain. You will need to remove 6 screws. 2 here hold the FFC assembly bracket to the carriage cover, and 4 here hold the carriage cover to the carriage. There are also 2 clips that have to be released here to separate the FFC assembly bracket from the carriage cover. You will want to release the ink tubes from their clips on the carriage. That will allow the carriage cover to move far enough out of the way to access the FFC sockets on the carriage relay board. Just like on the main PC board, the 2 fine pitch FFCs have a release lever on the socket they connect to, while the 2 coarse pitch cables are a press-in fit. The new FFC assembly comes with the FFCs already creased. I'm not so sure I like that. I will really try not to flex the cables much where they have been creased, but that is going to be very hard to do. I ended up propping the cable assembly up on a piece of cardboard to try and keep the FFCs flat. It's a very tight space to work in, and quite difficult to get the fine pitch FFC seated properly while latching the socket. The coarse pitch cables go in pretty easy, just make sure they're seated all the way. Now this is where the pre-creased FFCs are nice, sure helps them lay in the proper position. Kinda could use an extra hand here, but just have to line up the carriage cover while keeping the FFCs in their slot. The 2 clips on the FFC bracket are a little tricky to get lined up, but if they're clipped in place and the 2 plastic pins here are in the proper holes, the screws should line up. You'll have to lift the cable chain a bit to feed the FFCs through to the back. They go under the guide rail and over the metal frame. Just don't kink them while pulling them through. The FFC bracket here snaps back in place quite easy, much easier than it came out. Then can put back on the cable clips. Sure looks to me that it could really use 3 of them, but none came with the new FFC assembly. While I guess the FFC will clip in this bracket, I decided it'd be safer to remove this bracket to give me a bit of extra space to work with the cables. There is only 1 screw holding it in, so why not? And that makes it much easier to get the cables in place without any damage. Then work the cables through the rest of this bracket, and then at the bottom, feed the cables through the ferrite ring. And again, make sure not to kink any of the cables. The FFCs connect to the main PC board the way they connected to the carriage relay PC board. The 2 coarse pitch cables just press into their sockets. The 2 fine pitch cables have to be held in place while pushing down the latch lever. When the lever is in the up position, can insert and remove the FFCs. In the down position, the cable should be latched in place. Just want to make sure the cable is seated all the way and that it is straight. Can use the blue reinforcement strip on the end of the cable to kind of judge if the cable is in straight. Also can give a very light tug on the cable to make sure it is held in the socket. This is the first boot up after replacing the FFC assembly. No errors, so that is good. But it gets to the preparing ink system just like before, and it stays there just like before. I let it run for like 5 minutes. It just keeps running the purge unit. I was very disappointed right about now. I restarted in maintenance mode and do a nozzle check. Magenta is fine. It all looks fine. I'm just so puzzled why it thinks it needs to prepare the ink system. So after a bit of discussion, the plan was to order a new main PC board for the printer. No errors and seemingly stuck in the preparing ink system stage. It seemed like the next logical step. After a few months of trying to find a main PC board, it was looking pretty bleak. Don't know if they were just out everywhere or Canon was not allowing them to be sold. Whatever the reason, not being able to buy a main part for the printer was very troubling for the owner. But I got to thinking, there must be a limit to how many times it will run the pump in the purge unit. And maybe at the end it will give an error as to what it's looking for. This is the purge unit here. It has several motors on it and one runs a vacuum pump. The print head will set on this part here. And when the purge unit is running its vacuum pump, it will suck ink through the print head. That $1,500 a gallon ink. So I thought I would try and lift the carriage off the purge unit so it couldn't waste the ink. I timed it and the vacuum pump seems to run for about 70 seconds and then pause for about 8 seconds. I tried using a craft stick to prop the carriage up off the purge unit, but that didn't work out so well. I ended up just lifting the carriage by hand. Now the carriage has to be lifted off the purge unit at the very beginning of the vacuum pump startup. If not, the print head will be stuck to the purge unit, and I think it best to just let it run its cycle then. Will cost a bit of ink, but I could see damaging something if the print head and purge seal area are forced apart. The other thing to watch out for is that the carriage can move on its own, so you want to make sure your fingers are not positioned where they could get pinched or caught. So I would lift the carriage when the pump would start up and set the carriage back down when the pump stopped. This went on for over 20 minutes, very close to 24 minutes really. Then the vacuum pump didn't start back up, and the printer moved the carriage a tiny bit, maybe to line it up from my moving it off its position. After about 30 seconds, the carriage moved to this position and back. Other motors kicked in and ran for a bit. And then it started a nozzle check. It doesn't say it's checking the nozzles, but I'm quite sure it is. It had never gotten this far before, but it also had never run for this long. Well, if it had, it would have run out of ink. This was the first time I had seen the preparing ink system progress bar move, so that did give me some encouragement. Then it started the purge unit vacuum pump again, and it seemed to run for almost 2 minutes, longer than its other cycles. After this, it moved the head and started up the blowers in the printer. Then it moved the head back to the purge unit, and a motor started running on the purge unit, but it was not pulling a vacuum on the print head. This ran for about 2.5 minutes. Then the motor stopped, it moved the carriage a bit, and then the preparing ink system completed. Then it moved to the checking the nozzle screen. It checked the nozzles 2 times. It took about 2.5 minutes for both checks. Then it went back to preparing the ink system like this, but the vacuum pump was not running, so no ink was flowing. Then it went to agitating the ink. This printer has been off a long time, so I don't know if that has something to do with the extended times for some of these operations. It showed the agitating the ink for a bit over 2 minutes. It was still agitating the ink even after moving to the operational stage, but could operate the printer and everything seemed to be working. First time in months could print with this thing. After going through all that, this is how it now boots up. It spends a few seconds on the Canon logo screen. Then it gives the model and software version number for a few seconds. Then it goes to the adjusting printer to get ready to print mode. And then it's ready to print. Took about a minute and a half to boot up. Wouldn't surprise me if it set off for a few days that it might take longer to boot up. Okay, I'm going to put it all back together and see how it does. This thing has seemed to have so many intermittent problems, really won't know for a few months if this has fixed everything. The FFCs may have been the cause of all the problems. Well, it's been running fine for the last couple of months. I think it's fixed. I could only find one break in one of the fine pitch FFCs. Hard to believe that one bad connection could cause such a headache. Of course, there might be some more. I just wasn't able to see them, though I did look over all 4 cables with the microscope. It also means this FFC went bad at almost the very start of this printer's life. That should not happen. I'm not sure why it was seemingly stuck in the preparing ink system stage. It's almost like maybe there's a counter keeping track of how many times it doesn't power down properly or lose connection to the printhead, and says add another purge cycle. I hope that's not the case, as that would be insane. So while spending very long times in the preparing ink system stage may not be a problem itself, it is a symptom of a problem, and it seems the only way to clear it is to let it run through its complete cycle. At least it can run with the printhead lifted off the purge unit, so you don't have to waste hundreds of dollars of ink. That being said, it sure seems like a very poor design by Canon. But maybe now this printer will put more ink on paper than in the waste tank. Thank you for watching.